What's up, guys? So today I want to talk about something that has been on my mind quite a bit lately, and it's the idea of complaining about things that are in the past and that you no longer have any control over. Because if I'm being honest, it's pretty easy to do. It doesn't go how you wanted, it ended up differently than you imagined, and then you replay it. You complain about it in your head. You tell the story again. You imagine what you could have said. You imagine what you should have done. And you mentally argue with something that's already happened. And I had to ask myself this recently: what am I actually fixing when I'm doing that? Am I fixing it? Am I changing it? Or am I just keeping myself stuck? Now, complaining feels productive. It feels like you're processing. It feels like you're defending yourself. But most of the time, it's resisting reality. It's saying, this just shouldn't have happened. But it did. And that's the part that we don't like. We don't like when we don't get to rewrite it. We don't like when we don't get to go back. We don't like that we don't get closure the way that we imagined. So instead of accepting it, we complain. We vent, we replay, we argue, and absolutely nothing changes except our mood. Now, here's the uncomfortable truth. Your past does not care how you feel. You can complain about it for an hour, a day, a week, a year. It does not move. It does not shift. It does not respond. The only thing that you can actually change is the present. You lose energy, you lose focus, and you lose time. Complaining about something that you can't control is just borrowing stress from something that's already over. And I'm not saying don't feel things. You should feel things. You should process things. But there's a difference between processing and rehearsing. Processing helps move you forward, but rehearsing, that keeps you stuck. If you're telling the same story over and over again, but nothing about your mindset changes, you're not healing. You're just reliving it. And a lot of complaining comes from ego. Let's be honest. We want to be right, and we want validation that we didn't mess up. So we replay everything in a way that protects our own image. But protecting your ego does not build your future. It just protects your pride, and your pride does not help you move on. There's also this idea of control. When something happens that you didn't want, complaining gives you the illusion of control, and it feels like you're doing something about it. But you're not. You're just staying emotionally attached to something that's finished. Acceptance feels weak. It feels like giving up. But acceptance is actually strength. It's saying, I don't like it, but it happened. And now I get to choose what comes next. You can't control what already happened, what someone else decided, how something felt, how something changed, how something ended. But you can control your reaction, your standards, your direction, and your next move. And I've noticed something about myself. The longer that I complain about something, the more drained that I feel, waiting for something to change that is never going to change. And at some point, you have to decide, do I want to be right or do I want to move forward? Because a lot of the times, we don't get to choose both. And complaining does not heal you. Action does. You don't have to like what happened. In fact, a lot of the times, you probably won't like it. But you have to accept it, because unless you accept it, you're just going to continue to be fighting something that's already done. And there's also something extremely freeing about letting go of the need to complain. It's like just saying, it is what it is. Not in a lazy way, but in a grounded and in control way. So if you can't control it, if it already happened, why give it more time? Why give it more energy? Why let it take up all this space in your head? That space could be used for something much more valuable, like learning, growing, or improving. You don't move forward by looking backwards. You move forward by accepting what's behind you and then choosing differently next time. And that is maturity. That is growth. At the end of the day, you either keep reliving it or you let it teach you something and move on. Those are the only two options. And complaining feels very easy, but accepting it and moving on is harder, but it's the right thing to do. So if it didn't go the way you wanted, ask yourself, is this helping me, or am I just delaying acceptance? Because the sooner you accept it, the sooner you get your time back and your energy back. And those two are some of the most valuable things that you have. So that's it. Stop fighting the past, accept it, and move on. Now, it's your turn to choose what you do next. I will see you guys in the next one.